Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to Nerd Mode. This is where I introduce you to a series that you may or may not be familiar with. For today's Nerd Mode, I'm going to talk about the television series Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like always, this isn't a review, it's just me talking about a series that I really like that I recommend you check out for yourself. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an action sci-fi drama that follows Phil Coulson, who's believed to be dead after the events of the first Avengers movie, is alive and back at S.H.I.E.L.D. leading a new team that he has formed to face new threats, which includes stopping evil groups like Hydra, for example, as well as keeping dangerous objects, powers, as well as people with powers out of the hands of said groups, sometimes even protecting these same people with powers from themselves. The series does a fantastic job of fleshing out its characters. You get to find out what events led these particular characters to become who they are. For example, May, finding out why she's known as the Cavalry, which is kind of a sad story. The same applies to bad guys as well. You get to learn what things from their past ended up leading them to the paths they're on now. They're not always justified, but you do understand them a little bit better as to their motivations behind what they do. This doesn't apply to all cases, but there are some particular cases throughout the series where you're just like, okay, I kind of understand what led you to becoming who you are. There's one particular bad guy that comes to mind, but even saying who that is enters spoiler territory. But when it comes to the main protagonist, it's not just about their past, it's also them in the present, them as a team, bonding and growing closer, becoming less like a team and more like a dysfunctional family. The series also has a bit of a mystery element as well. A lot of secrets are kept. For instance, how Coulson is still alive even though he, died and everything, which does get answered, but that in itself leads to many other things unfolding down the road. The show also does a good job of keeping you on your toes with the constant twists and turns. Because betrayal is a big theme in this show, you never know who's actually a good guy. An ally today may be an enemy tomorrow. But considering S.H.I.E.L.D. is a large-scale organization made up of spies, it kind of comes with the terrain, I guess. And speaking of spies, that's another cool thing about the show. Yes, this show is a sci-fi show that also has superpowers, which both on their own is pretty awesome altogether, but then you also, see that this show is also a spy show as well. Secret missions, covert operations, it's all pretty awesome. The series also deals with the downside of having such a large-scale organization like S.H.I.E.L.D. A big group like that working in secret can cause a lot of problems to arise, which even gets the government thinking like, maybe we shouldn't have this large-scale unmonitored organization doing as they please. Which makes sense, but still. Back in season 2, the show introduced Inhumans. Now, without going too deeply into it, Inhumans are basically people who have this genetic potential for superpowers. I mean, that's me super simplifying it. There's a lot more to it. Terrigen crystals, fish oil. Going too deeply into it will be entering spoiler territory, so I'm just going to leave it at that. The Inhumans introduction does bring an interesting element to the show. Not just the superpower aspect, but also the divide it causes amongst people. Because there are some people who are like, yay, Inhumans are okay, but you also have the other side that's like, nah, Inhumans are bad because, some people view them as dangerous, uncontrollable monsters, which some are more so than others. This series also ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Things that happen in the movies, in some cases the aftermath of said movies, play a role in the series and influence the show's events and stories. Though the opposite isn't true for the movies because they don't acknowledge the TV show's events even up to this point, which in itself, that's a whole other thing. The show also has a good amount of action, whether it's gunfights, hand-to-hand combat, or superpowers to superpowers, the whole spy covert operations aspect, lots of sci-fi ranging from the gadgets that they use to the superpowers that appear in the show, as well as the solutions that they use to solve said problem of the episode. Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premieres September 20th, which is like right around the corner, so I do hope you're caught up. But that's really all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.